Hi there, this is Shrikant Dasari. So in this lesson, we are going to learn about the various basic file operations like creating a file, writing content into a file, next reading from a file and copying contents from one file to another. So we are going to develop a program using C++. Now there are various functions which are inbuilt into C++ in the fstream.h header file. Okay, so likewise ifstream, ofstream, or fstream, we need to create some objects to those classes, and then there are various functions to work with those objects. Okay, so first and foremost, we are going into the program here. Okay, so first let us add all the basic operations like header files. Okay, so hash include iostream is the very basic header file, and then we need fstream also. Hash include fstream. Okay, so and then we might use this function also if necessary, a string also. Okay, so here I am using so Visual Studio, sorry, Visual C++ Express Edition. So if you are using Borland or Turbo C++, so what you have to do is you need to add .h header files to all these things here. Okay, so there are minor differences when you are working with so different IDEs. Like here I am using Visual C++, and you might use Borland or Turbo C++ or something like that. So small differences are there. Okay, so next let me add this using namespace here. So using namespace std. Okay, so again this using namespace std is like a toolbox, so which is not necessary with the case of Turbo C++ or Borland C++, because when the language C++ is standardized in the year 1998, then they have added this feature called as namespaces to the language. So whichever the compilers or IDEs developed after the year 1997 or 98, so they support this feature. Okay, so all the previous IDEs or compilers which you might use like Turbo C++ or Borland C++ may not support this feature. Okay, so when you need to keep in mind so that you need not need all these things when you are using the older compilers. So but according to the standard of the language, you must use all these things. Okay, so all these new additions into your program. Okay, so next let us just put the main to complete the basic structure here. Okay, so main, I'm just using the return statement here, return 0, and before that let me put cin dot get here. Okay, so cin dot get. Okay, so we are just done with the basic program here. Nothing happens here. If you execute the program, the output window just appears, just comes and disappears here. Okay, so taking a lot of time since it is compiling for the very first time here. Okay, so nothing happens, just output window appears, and so let us make it a bit bigger. Let us take a font as 36 here, and also let us change the colors for our convenience. So I am putting the screen test as black and screen background as white for the output window. Okay, so now, as we have said in the beginning, we are going to develop the C++ program using the object-oriented features like classes and objects. Okay, so for that purpose, let us create a class which has all the functionalities or member functions for various operations like creating a file, writing data into a file, and reading from file and copying the contents of one file to another file. Okay, so first let us take a class here. So let me name the class name as files. Okay, so to keep it simple, I have just named the class name as file, and I'm taking a private section here, private section. In the private section, I'm going to declare two objects here. Okay, so one is for ifstream in, and the second one is for OF stream out. Okay, so these two objects are very essential when we are creating programs here. Okay, so here, because the if in object, which is declared with the class if stream, is very useful when you are doing the read operations. Okay, so if you are opening a file in read mode, or if you are reading from a file, or if you want to copy the content from one file to another, so first you have to open the file in read mode and read the data, and then put the content into the another file which is in write mode. Okay, so for that for this purpose we need two different objects, or else you can take so one f stream object also directly like this. Okay, so or else for the time being, let us take two different objects. One is for in and out, one is for if stream, and other one is for of stream. Okay, so in the public section, under the public access specifier, so I am going to define all the member functions here. Okay, so first member function, which is going to do the functionality of creating a file. So I am just writing a create file. Okay, so the second member function is going to be write to file. Okay, so write some data. So in the first member function, the first switch case option which you are going to take in the main program is going to deal with this functionality. Okay, so first option would be you first to do anything before writing content or reading content from a file. First you need to create a file with some name and some extension and so on and so forth. For that purpose I have taken that create file function here, and then next I am taking here the write to file function. So once you have created a file, so you need to, if you want to add some data or content into that file, so for that purpose you can use that member function. And then also I'm taking the third member function, which I'm calling it as read file. Okay, so the purpose of this the functionality which we are going to add in this member function deals with reading content from the file. Okay, and the last member function, the last functionality is copy file to file. Okay, so here so what this member function does is it just copies the content from one file to another file. Okay, so four different functionalities, the four different basic operations. We have taken four different member functions here. Okay, so and also in the main function, let us build a menu. Okay, so here our output of the the output of the program is going to be a menu driven program. Okay, so for this purpose let us take what we call a menu kind of thing here. Okay, so in the do loop I am just building, in the do while loop here I am taking. So first let us say that printf, sorry, not printf, it's cout. Okay, since we are doing in C++, it should be cs /t. The first operation, the first menu or the first item in the menu is going to be create a file. Okay, so note all these things. Okay, and next the second option is going to be /t write data into a file. Okay, this is the second option. Let me scroll a bit, and the third option is going to be /t read from file. Okay, the third option, as we have taken the third member function, read from a file, and so on and so forth. So all these messages are just for understanding purpose here. Okay, and /t, the fourth option is going to be the copy the contents from one file to another file. Okay, so here the message has become very lengthy, so all these messages are just for understanding purpose. Okay, so you can make cut short the messages as you like here. Okay, the fifth function is going to, the fixed functionality is nothing but the exit. Okay, so next we are going to use the cn statement, which is very common, to scan the choice. And now with the help of a switch case, all these things are very common thing which you have learned in your data structures while you are developing the stack programs of 1 for push, 2 for pop, 3 for display, 4 for exit, something like this. Okay, that functionality I am just adding in the main here. Okay, so in the case 1 break, so I am just putting all the cases here. So later we can call those appropriate member functions in these cases. Okay, so the second case is break. Let me make some room here. And the case 3, I'm just adding the cases here. Later I'm going to call all those member functions which we have which are going to write the code in the class. Okay, so case 5 break, and case 5 also break. Here we are going to put the exit function here. Okay, so case 5 is nothing but exit. Okay, so directly you can write exit of 0. Okay, so default in the last. So if the user unexpectedly gives any other input than this, you can say, you can put a message here /t saying that wrong choice. So please try again. Okay, so you can put a message, and also you can have a break if you want it here also. Break. Okay, so here we are done with nothing happens here. We have just developed the cases here, appropriate cases. Okay, so for the stdlib.h, let us put the corresponding header file, which is nothing but sorry, for the exit function, let us put the corresponding header file, which is stdlib.h. Okay, or else in sometimes you might use process.h also. So depending upon the compiler and IDE you are using, this small changes might be applicable here. Okay, so let us run the program. Nothing happens here. We have just developed a case, or else we have some mistakes here. We have made a small mistake, couple of mistakes. So what is it? Scene sketch. Okay, excuse me. Okay, so we have just created the menu here. Let us put this message also here, cout /t, enter your choice or something like this, for the sake of understanding here. Okay, so you're asking the user to enter some choice here. Okay, so if you run the program, so until now what happens here is just it displays the menu which we have just created in the main function using with the help of switch here. Okay, so here there are 5 different options. The first one is creating a file, writing data into a file, reading from file, read from file, or copy the contents from one file to another file. So the fifth one is exit. Okay, so if you are taking option 1, nothing happens here because we haven't yet written the code of in the member function and call that within the switch case here, so that the functionality gets added to our program. So let us take the fifth option and come out of the execution. So our intention is to write the code in the member functions in such a way that all these operations are performed. Okay, so first and foremost I am going to write the functionality for this create file option here. Okay, so first our intention is to write some code here in this member function and call that appropriate member function within the cases here. Okay, so first what I'm going to do is, so before creating any file, so you need to take the name of the file. Okay, so you need a name of file, and with that name and with that extension you're going to create a file. Okay, so first let me put that message here. Okay, cout /t, or else let us take the system CLS here. Okay, so this is equivalent to CLR SCR within your this is equivalent to CLR SCR within your Turbo C or Borland C++. Okay, so first it just clears the screen in the output window. Okay, so let us take the name of the file here. Okay, so enter the file name to be created. Okay, so I'm just putting a message here. Okay, so I'm just saying enter the file name to be created, and let us so we need to take the variables appropriate here. Okay, so first let us say that char file name. So I'm just taking the variables as whatever necessary. Okay, let us put it as 50 here. Okay, so f name, let us say f name. So I need to have this lengthy names here, f name of 50. Okay, So just taken a file name here, or also let us take a string also, so which is necessary when we are reading the content from file here. Okay, so I have taken a string of length 100, a string and a string named fname for the purpose of creating the file name with the length of 50. Okay, so what I'm doing is, with the help of cin, I'm just using to scan that name here. Okay, so fname is the name of the variable here. Okay, so I've just taken we have just file name with extension here. Okay. If you have this message with very clearly, it would be very fine here. Okay, so file name with extension is what necessary. Okay, so if you don't give an extension to your file when you are creating a file, automatically it takes a .dat extension, which is very nasty. Okay, so file name extensions, you know what is an extension here. You can have txt or doc or xls or whatever it might be, so you can have some extension. Okay, so like all the C++ programs has the extension of .cpp, if you observe here, and all the C programs has the extension of .c, like this, likewise here. Okay, so first and foremost, so here our intention is to create a file. Okay, so create a file means it would always be better if you create a file using the out object here. Okay, so if you're not reading here, you might put the content while creating the file also. So here you can say something like this: so out dot open. Okay, so here you have taken a file name here. Okay, so fname comma, so ios of, so you need to have mode here. Okay, so let us put it as out mode here. Okay, so this is the syntax of creating a file using the open function here. Okay, so here using with the help of open function, we have created a file with the name fname. Okay, so what happens now is, let us take an if condition here. Okay, so what happens if you're unable to create a file with that name or something like this? Okay, so if you want to grab that condition, you can say something like this. Okay, so if so out dot fail. Okay, so here we have a fail function here. If it is the case, then you can say that cout/n/t cout/n/t cannot create a file. Okay, so this is the message which is going to be displayed with that name here. Okay, so although this condition never appears because always when you are creating a file, so in these days we have a lot of disk space, like hundreds of GBs of memory, and you can give whatever the name you want, and you can create whatever the file it is you want it within your system. Okay, so 99% this condition would not arise. Okay, so if that is not the case, you can have a message here down below saying that /n/t file created successfully. So you can have a message here, a small message, just to tell to the user that the file has been created successfully. Okay, so now what we are going to do is we are going to create an object here. The reason I am doing it within the for loop here is, okay, so files FOP. Okay, so I hope the name of our class is files here. Okay, yes, it is files, and I have just created an object for the files within the do loop. Okay, so the reason I am doing here is, in the future when you are running the loop simultaneously, checking the various different options, so if you're creating the object above the loop, then every time your file objects may not be created and you might not get the expected output here. Okay, so for that reason, always it is advisable and it is the best practice to create the object within the loop only. Okay, so next what happens is, I am just going to call that function, create function here. Let me say that FOP dot. Okay, so automatically the IntelliSense of my IDE is showing here. Okay, so I just call that create file function using my object to the class files here. Okay, so let me execute the program here. So everything goes well without any error. And the output, when the output window comes, we need to be able to create a file here. Okay, it's taking a lot of time to execute. There are less number of lines of code is there, even though. Okay, so create a file. The first option I'm going to select is create a file. As soon as so we have selected the option, the screen get cleared, and it asks us the file name with extension to be created here. Okay, so let me say that let me create a file called sri.txt. okay, so sri.txt, and let me hit enter. Okay, so file created successfully. That is what the message we have got here. File created successfully, and again the menu gets displayed here. Okay, so this is the thing. Okay, so if you go back to your, if you wanted to check whether physically the file has been created with the name sri.txt, you need to go back to your project folder here. Okay, so my project folder it lies in the my documents of my system here. Okay, let me come out of the execution by taking the option 5 here. Okay, so if you go back in my system, if you go to the my document section here, if you're also using Visual Studio, you have a Visual Studio 2005 folder within your let me show this in a big thing here. Let me say something like this, large icons. Okay, so you have Visual Studio folder within your my documents in that projects section. So if you go back to your file operations folder, okay, so this is the name of my project here. If you observe here, within I have given the name as file operations final here. Okay, so if you go into that project directory, and if you go inside the file operations, so here you have this file here. Okay, so this is the file which has been just created after in the execution time with the name sri.txt here. Okay, so nothing happens here, just we have created a file. The content, there are no contents here. Okay, so if you want, you can put some contents here randomly. So if you want, you can put some contents also, or else if you want to add some meaningful text, whatever you wanted you can do. Later you can read, use this file to read data using your program also. Okay, so for the time being I'm just closing the file here. Let us not save anything. Okay, so if we go back to our program, okay, so this is the thing here. Okay, okay, so we have just done with the files thing here. Okay, so creating a file thing here. Okay, so we're done with the creating a file. Now let us focus on how to create, how to write a small member function to write some contents into the file we have which we have just created here. Okay, okay, so we are just done with the create file functionality here. So if you want, you can create various different files with various different extensions using this create file function here. Okay, so if you execute the program once again here, okay, so here in the last execution I have just created a file named sri.txt. so let me create another file here. Let me say that sri.doc. okay, so doc file. Oh, sorry, I just done a small mistake here. First we need to take the extension with over enthusiasm. I have just, first we need to select the choice here, the create a file. So then it asks us for the name of the file with the extension. Let me say that it is .doc. Okay, so the file created successfully. Okay, so if you want, if you got any doubt, if you come out of the execution and if you go back to your project folder here, which is obviously in the my document section here, so here it is. Okay, so here this is the new word.doc file which has been created with the help of our program here. Okay, so likewise if you go back to your program and if you execute the program once again, you can create an Excel file also. Okay, so you can take the option and let us say the name of the file as sri.xls. Okay, so sri.xls. okay, so this is the extension of Excel sheet. Okay, so if you hit enter, the file got created successfully, and if you come out of the execution and if you go back to your project directory, so here it is, an Excel sheet created. Okay, Excel, since I have 2010 message here, so this is Excel sheet created with the help of that extension. Okay, so likewise you can create any number of files with any extension in the world. Okay, supports. Okay, so this is the very basic thing about creating a file. So now let us write the functionality of putting some content into the file here. Okay, so putting some content into the file. Okay, so done with the creating a file section here. Okay, so now let us say that so before putting some content into the file, again the same functionality which we have done in the previous example. So first let me say clear the screen as soon as it enters into the system. It just clears the screen here, system CLS. Okay, so Again, let us scan the thing here, okay, or else take the file name into which you want to put the content here. Okay, so let's say enter the file name. Enter the file name in which content to be placed. Okay, so if you're having some meaningful messages tomorrow, if you're giving this program to any unsophisticated user, so he will be very happy with all these messages here. Okay, so enter the file name in which content to be placed. That is what I have taken here. Again, the help of scene, I can scan that f name, since we have taken the variable for file name which is to be f name. Okay, so now what we are going to do is so let us again the same thing we are going to do here is using the out object. Okay, since we are using the out, the reason we are using the out object, because here our intention is to put the content, okay, in the write mode. So for this purpose you are outputting the content, you are not reading it. Okay, so you are writing it. So it is advisable, it is useful to use the out object. Okay, so again, with the help of the open function, so let us open that file name which you want, where the content must be put, and here iOS, again, once again I'm taking it as out here. Okay, so this is the file opening modes here. Okay, so there are the three most useful file opening modes are iOS, in, out, and append. Okay, so there are three different file opening modes here. So out.open of fname of iOS, scope resolution operator, and out here. Okay, so you have just opened the file. If you're unable to open the file, so this so again, if it fails, then you have to put a message here. Okay, just you can say something like this: if out.fail. So in this condition, in this functionality of writing a file, so this condition might arise here. Okay, so if you are trying to give a file name which does not exist physically, so then it returns a fail. Okay, so in this case, I can have a message here saying that no such file exists. Okay, so you can say, put some message like this: no such file exists in the system. Okay, so some meaningful message here. Okay, so no such file exists in the system. You can say that because it's failed, because you are trying to open a file which does not exist. So in that case, it returns a fail. So you can put a message something like this. If that is not the case, you can put some content directly. Okay, so you can say out directly, and you can say something like this. Okay, so you can out some content, like you can say something like this. Okay, let us take a name here. Okay, /t, enter some data. I'm just saying a message here. Okay, so enter some data, so whatever it might be. Okay, so and with the help of in the previously, if you observe here, I have just taken a string here. Okay, so this is the string str I have taken here, a string for the purpose of taking some data, taking some content from the keyboard. Okay, so with that content must be what you're going to do is, using the out object, we are splitting into the file here. Okay, and that content you are putting into the str. Okay, so using the help of this object, you are pushing that content into the file here. Okay, so let me execute the program. And so also the always the good practice, you need to close the file as soon as you have done all your operations. Okay, so here you have taken some content from the input, and you have stored into the file using the object out, and then you need to close the file here. Okay, so out dot close. Okay, so as soon as you are done with your program, you must close the here also. In the previous example also, you must close the file, which is also a good practice, which I forgot to add here. Okay, so always close the file as soon as you are done with your operations. So now let us execute the program here. It's taking a bit time here since my system is very ancient. It's taking forever. Okay, so here let us take the option 2 here. Since we have created a file in the first option, let us take 2. It's got skipped up. Okay, so there is a problem. Oh, we didn't call the function here. Okay, so we need to call that appropriate function within our case here, fop dot write to file. Okay, so until you don't call the function within your switch case, your functionality, what you are going to write, does not execute here. Okay, so now I'm executing the program after calling the function within the switch case. Let us see what happens now. It's taking forever, very slow. Okay, so hope we got it. Okay, so let us take the option 2. Let us give the name of the file where the content must be pasted, and let's write some data. Let me write my name only here, Srikanth Dasari, which is obviously a string, or else scene is having some problem with spatial strings. Let us put something like this here. Okay, so here we have what we have done is we have entered some data into that file, which means that we have written some data into that file. Okay, so physically you can check that by reading from the file, which we haven't written the code yet. We can go back to your project directory folder here now, which is in the my documents. If you go back to the my documents here, and if you open that sri.txt file, so here if you observe, that name has been written here. Okay, so that name, whatever I have entered through the output, okay, has been written into the file here. Okay, so now what happens is, let us execute the program once again and see what happens now is, let us execute the code once again. Let us take the option 2 once again here, and let me take the same file name sri.txt once again, and let us put a different content here. This is my surname, which is I'm adding here, Dasari, and if I hit enter, and if I go back to the folder once again here, folder of my project folder, and if you open that file, so if you observe here, the content which is placed in the last execution has got replaced by this new content here. Okay, so in this is very disaster, because if you might lose the data again and again. Okay, so if you want to save the data forever, so you need to open that file in the program in a different kind of mode known as append mode here. Okay, so if you go back to your write to file functionality here, so here instead of using the out, which is not at all suggestible while writing content into the file. Okay, so because if you use append mode, what happens is the file, the data which is existing already, do not get disturbed or not get erased, and whatever the data you are giving the next run or next execution stores permanently in the data. Okay, stores permanently in that file. Okay, so if you execute the program once again, it's taking a bit. I don't know why today my system is very slow. I think I have to close the Chrome once here, because the Chrome is eating up all my memory. Okay, let me take the option once again here. Let me take the same file sri.txt, and let me add the first execution. Let me add the same data. Let me take the option once again, and let me take the same file. Let me open the same file in the write mode, and let me now add my surname here. Okay, so that's it. Let me come out of the execution and go back to my project folder here once again. Let me open the file which I have taken the data. Okay, so here if you observe, nothing happened here. Every time what happens is the data gets added very adjacently. Okay, so in order to get rid of this problem, there is a solution for that also, a small solution. What is that is, you can append not only the string every time, you can also append the new line here. Okay, so what I have done is I have just appended the new line character escape sequence here along with the string which we have scanned here. Okay, so now if you execute the program, again it's taking a lot of time. I think system has gone very slow these days. Okay. So now if you take the option 2, let me take the same file name once again, c.txt. Let me add some data now. Let me say ABC, something like this, whatever it might be. Enter. And now go back, come out of the execution and go back to your project directory, which is obviously in my case my documents Visual Studio projects here. Okay, file operations final, and within that, not in the debug, here, go back to that. So new line didn't get added here. Okay, so there's a small problem. I think must add the new line thing also. I think it is adding after that, before I think. Okay, so let me place the new line before only. Okay, so let me execute the program now. I have just added the new line before only, not after, not previously. Okay, again I'm executing the program. Once again I'm executing the program here. There is a problem. It's once again. Okay, so let us take the option 2 here once again. Let us take the same file name once again, and let us put some content and see whether we are getting the data in the new line or not. Okay, let us type some text. Okay, so let us come back from our execution, and let us go back to our file program. Okay, so here if you observe, we have just made a change in the program of just putting a new line before entering the data. Okay, that worked for us very well, and now we are comfortable in adding the data or appending the data into the file 3.txt in such a way that the new line gets added before putting the content into the file. Okay, so this is not here we have, if you observe here, we have a doc file and Excel file also. So if you want to add some data into those files, also you can use, with the help of our program, you can do that. Let us execute the program once again. Let us take option 2, and let us say that 3.doc here. Okay, 3.doc, and let us put some data here. Let me write my name once again, my full name with surname. I think something wrong has happened here. Okay, so we've done a mistake. Okay, so let me stop the debugging here. Okay, we have done a mistake. File name, fail, no such file exists here. Okay, so let us write that once again, sree.doc. Okay, let us put some data, just my name. Okay, let us come out of this execution and go back to our my documents folder here once again, and go to the doc file where we have created using our previous function. Let us see whether the content has appeared in this doc file or not. Okay, yes, it is. Okay, so we have put some content here within the doc file also. So likewise you can do it for Excel also. So if you want me to do that, let me do that also. Let me take the option, let me execute the code once again here, and let me take the option 2 once again. Let me say that 3.xls. Okay, let me put some data. Okay, then come out of the execution, and if you go back to your project folder to that Excel file, if you double click to open that Excel file, and you might find that bit of data here. Okay, so it's coming here because a couple of new lines has been added since in the program we have added here a couple of new lines that's got added in the Excel file as well here. Okay, so in that way you can write content into your file. You can put a for loop, and you can ask the for loop to enter 5 different names, and whatever the stuff you can do with the normal regular programming, you can do all those things using the write to file function here. Okay, so next we have here the read file operation here. Okay, so now we need to perform the read file operation. For that purpose, let me write the program here, write the code here. Okay, so first the functionality is the same up to here. I'm just copying the code here. Okay, so need not write again and again the same code here. So let me paste that code here. Okay, so system.cls is quite common. You need to enter the file name where you need to change this message. Okay, so enter the file name to read the content. Enter the file name to read the content. To read the content from. Okay, just asking for the file name, and here so here there is a small change in the code here. Okay, so here you need not use this out object here. Now you need to, now the in comes into picture here. Okay, so since you are reading data from a file, the in you need to use this if stream object, which is in, which you have created in the program in the very beginning here. Okay, so if stream object in, we have to use that one here. So in dot open. So open is a quite common function here. Let us say the file name is fname, and we're using the help of this iOS. Let us say that in. Okay, so now the mode in which we are opening is in. Okay, so here our intention is to read the data from the file, and then we have to proceed. Display that content. Okay, so display that content to the standard output here. Okay, so reading means that what happens if you're reading. Okay, so if you read the data and show the data onto your console. Okay, so again this functionality is same here. I'm just adding that here. If that is not the case, or if the user is trying to read the file which is not existing in reality, so then it returns a fail, and then you can say that no such file exists in a system with that name. Okay, so that is the case, and if that is not the case, you can take the while loop here, while loop until not in dot eof. Okay, so in dot eof. Okay, so here this statement is very important for us. You're opening the file in mode until whatever the file you have opened in the in mode, until you reach the end of that file. Okay, your loop has to continue. Okay, so here again we are using that in dot getLine function. Now we are taking the help of this string which we have declared earlier. Okay, so with the help of this getLine function, we can grab the data from the file line by line until the maximum length of that line can be 100 here. Okay, so so now let us take this cout statement and let us say str, and let us put the new line here after each and every line which we have grabbed from the file here. Okay, so let us call the appropriate function here using the object here, fop dot read file. Okay, so if you do this, call this function, now you're able to read the data from the file for which we have written the code here in this function, member function. So let us execute the program here. So as soon as it compiles and executes, it's taking again a time. I don't know for what reason here. I need to free up the memory. Okay. So now let us take the option 3 here. It asks us for the name of the file. Let us give the file name itself here. Okay, so here our the current file which we are writing the code which lies in the same directory where we are storing all the files is files.cpp. I am giving that file name only. So as soon as you press enter here, all the data in that file gets displayed here. Okay, so if you scroll back to a bit, the entire program which we have just developing has been displayed here. Okay, line by line here. Okay, so not only that, if you want to take this option once again, let us say 3, and let us say 3.doc. I think it does not have any content here. Let us compile it once again. Let us take the option 3 and let us say sri.txt. I hope that has some text here, which is some gibberish text here. Okay, so in that way you can read the content from the file here. Okay, so you can read the content from the file. And now let us go back to the code window from the execution. So done with reading from a file using this functionality. Okay, so now let us do another important thing here. So here what we have to do is we need to enter take the two different file names here. Okay, so now we are moving to the copying data from one file to another file functionality. So what we are going to do is first let us add this system CLS here. Okay, system CLS. Let us scroll a bit and make some room for ourselves here. Okay, so let us take the source file name here. Okay, so here our intention is, sorry, I'm writing here cout. Okay, so let us take the source file first, from which you want to read the content, name of the source file. Okay, /n/t, enter the name of the source file. Okay, so further you can use the already existing name here, which we are named it as fname. Okay, so let us take another variable here at the beginning only, which is a good practice to keep all the variables here. So since we have one string for a file name, source file name, let us take another string here. Okay, so let us just say fname2 of 50. Okay, so I'm just taking another name variable to have the name of the target file name here. Okay, so let us again, I'm using the cout statement once again. I'm using a cout statement and I'm asking the user to enter the name of the target file. Okay, enter the name of the target file, and let us use the scene once again here. Let us say this time fname2, if I'm not wrong, the variable name. Okay, so here you have taken two different file names here. Okay, the first one is the source file name to read the content, and the second one is target file name, in which the content to be copied. Okay, so next we need to open two different files here. One is in the read mode. Let us say in, for that purpose I am using the in object, in.open of fname comma ios which is in mode. Okay, which is in mode, and also out dot open of fname2. The second file name must be opened in with using the out object, since we are writing the content, which is here the mode will be out mode here. Okay, better you can take out mode here. Okay, so we have opened both the files here, in file and out, using the in object and out object. Using the open function, we have opened both the files here. And now let us take an if condition here in such a way that if in dot fail, if either of the one fails, okay, so or let us use the pipe symbol, or out dot fail. Okay, so if any one of the function, any one of the object fail to open the respective files, which is the first one is in read mode and the second one is write mode, we can put a message that the files couldn't be opened. Okay, the files couldn't be opened, or files are missing, or some whatever the message you want, you can show it to the user. If that is not the case, again using the while loop here, while. Okay, so while not in dot eof. Okay, so again you can use the same function here, while not end of file. You can say that in dot getline of str comma 100. Okay, so at the same time you can use your out object and push that str to the output window. Okay, sorry, the output object. Okay, so here what you have done is we have taken an in dot in using the in object, we have read the file, and Using the out object, we are just pushing the string whatever you have got line by line here. Okay, so this is the small piece of code. If you are not to always, it is a good practice to close the files. Let us so since we are done with this loop here, let us say out in dot close and out dot close, which is always a best practice to close the files once we are done with the program. Okay, once we are done with the program. Okay, so likewise in the previous function also, we need to close this thing here, which is in dot close, since we have used only the in object, ifstream object. Okay, so let us call this copy file to file function within our case also here. So fop dot, that is the first one which appears in the IntelliSense. Let us execute the program. Let us run the program and try to copy the content from one file to another file here. Okay, it's taking a bit time here. It's wasting us a lot of time in execution since my system is very ancient. Okay, so let us take the option 4 here. Okay, so before that, let us once again read the content. Let us say test.cpp, which has I think there is a problem. There is a problem here. Unfortunately, the reading of the file didn't happen. Oh, okay, I got it. The file name is not test.cpp. The file name is files.cpp here, there. Okay, so files.cpp. So you get all the content of your current executing file. So if you want to copy the contents of this file to another file, let us take the option 4 here. And let us say that name of the source file, let us say that files.cpp. Okay, let us take the target name as files2.cpp. Okay, so I hope that we have copied the content. So if you got any doubt here, if you come back from the execution, and if you go back to your my documents project folder as we have done previously. So here you have another file. Okay, so this is this is the actual source file, and this is the duplicate which we have just created. Okay, so if you open that duplicate file, you get the code. Okay, the same code has been replicated or copied line by line from this file to this file here. This is the source file, and this acts as a target file here. Okay, so if you go back to your code and if you run the program once again. So again, if you have, you can read that copied file also using the read option here. So if you press 3 and if you give the file name as files2.cpp, now you get the content which has been copied from one file to another file displayed using the read option here. Okay, so this is all about the very basic operations in C++. Okay, C++ using all the basic operations. We have built a class here. Okay, so if to revise once again, first and foremost we have added all the header files which are very essential here, and also we have taken all the necessary variables within the private section as the principle of object-oriented programming. And also we have in the public section, we have created 4 different member functions. The first one is for creating a file, the second one is writing to a file, data to a file, and third one which is reading from a file, and the fourth one is copying the contents from one file to another file. And the main is very obvious. We have created the various menu here, and we have using those menu, we have called the appropriate functions in the cases here. I hope you like the tutorial. I always welcome you to put your feedback in the form of comments below. See you in the next lesson. Goodbye.